Yes, family. The average cost to install a water heater in the United States typically ranges between 2,400 and 5,400, with most homeowners paying around 3,000. Today we're going to take on this project and install this water heater ourselves. So stay with the channel. Let's get this thing started. Yes, family, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed that little fun video down with my troops down in my reserve unit. Yeah, that was a fun time. But once again, problems. So next problem I have is, as you can see, my heater, my water heater is leaking. So more than likely I did a troubleshoot and it says it's probably leaking from the bottom, so you can see all the water. So I'm just put up some towel right now to keep it from spreading. So I'm gonna replace this myself. I've actually done it before, but yeah, I'm gonna do it again. So average price of a water heater starts at probably about somewhere between 500 all the way up to a couple $1,000. This is a 50 gallon. So I'm going to get a 50 gallon to replace this one, and what I'm going to do with the other one, instead of putting it on the ground, I'm going to put it on a stand. All right, so keep it from rusting on the bottom. So I gotta go to Lowe's, my favorite store, and pick up some parts. So as you can see, a lot of oxidation happens because I have hard water, right? We have hard water because we have well water. So these are still good, but I might just change them out anyway, clean up the pipes and stuff like that. All right, and then of course, you have to turn off the power and everything to get this done. So we're gonna head to the store, pick up some parts for this, and then we're gonna get this project going. All right, so see you shortly.
Yeah, I believe that was the one. Mm-hmm. the hand truck back there?
Alright, we are back. So let's get this thing out the box. A lot of work. There we go. All right. This one shouldn't be too difficult. I'll say that now. But my valve is on the side as opposed to being on top. So this is my release valve. Power source right here. I got my hot water, my cold water, and my power source. Relief valve, drain valve right here. Alright, good to go. Alright, well, we'll check all our necessary parts and then we'll put it together. Alright, so first things first, as you can see, Lynn already turned the power off. Alright, so what we're going to do now, shut off our water sources. Alright, water sources are off. And then we're going to go to our drain valve, turn this on, drain the water out. You see me, I've always connected here into the sump. This is the sump pump where all that water would drain off. Alright, so just gonna let that drain for a little bit until it's completely empty. And then once it's empty, we'll be able to disconnect the pipes and move the tank. Alright, so well, stay tuned. Alright, so I got all the water drained out, as you can see. Light, well, lighter. So next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna disconnect the power cords. As well, Mr. Lynn turned off the electricity already. Alright, so now next thing we gotta do is disconnect our water. So I got me some buckets just in case. You know, there's always a little bit of water left over. And we're gonna see if we can disconnect these without.
You already turned off the cold water?
All the water's off. So turn the main water off. too bad. We're not going to be using copper pipes anymore. We can get rid of that. Get my little truck. Go make this rest. All right, so as you can see, finally get it to dry out, water stop running. All right, so now we're gonna put on the drip pan. So originally I planned on put it on a stand, but this one is actually taller than the previous one that I'm replacing with, so it's just better to put it inside the drip pan. Right, so as you can see, the drip pan will sit right here. So that way, if water fills up in this, it will run off into the sump pump. But there's also a leak detector there as well. All right. So if it starts leaking, then it will detect it and give me a warning. All right. So next thing I got to do is go get my my new heater and bring it in here, and then we can install it. Light, but you know that light. Small space. Good. All right. There we go. Good to go. Rotate this. All right. So now I have the control panel out. We are good to go. So as you can see, these hoses are a little bit longer. All right, so I'm gonna have to cut these to a shorter size. All right, so these connectors that I'm using, these are called shark bites, and they're actually really good connectors. They're reusable. All right, so I found a little trick actually. So shark bite make these little gadgets that you can remove it. So basically all you have to do is you put it on, squeeze down, and you pull that off. All right, so these sell for about, I think, almost $3. But if you want to save $3 and don't want to spend any extra money, you can actually do the same thing with different pipes. So if for example, I am going to need to use or reuse this one, right? So all I need to do is get a pipe that's a little bit, if I didn't have this, I could use a pipe that's a little bit bigger than the pipe that I'm using. So this is a 3/4 inch pipe. So all I have to do is put it on, slide it up, and just like that, pull it, right? Same thing for the smaller pipes. This is a 1/2 inch, so I just use a 3/4. It's like a fitting that I didn't have to use anymore. I put together. So all I got to do is get a bigger pipe, same thing. Right? So there you go. You save you about $2. And these things get lost very easily. Alright? So tip of the day. Alright? So like I said, I need to, and for these you have to buy one for each size of pipe. Right? So you'd have to buy at least, depending on the size of pipe that you're using, you'd have to buy a different one for each. Alright? So I'm gonna reuse these. So that means I'm gonna have to cut the pipe. Alright. So I'll have to measure, because this one's taller than the previous one. So I'll have to measure where I want to put my connector and then cut the pipe right there. Alright. So let's get our tools and then we're gonna get this cut. So I'll get the pipes, see where I need to cut it measurement wise, and then once I cut it, then I'll do the connections. All right, so we're gonna connect the pipes real quick. We're not gonna tighten them yet. Just want to put them on so we can measure where we're gonna put, we're gonna cut. So I remember with the shark bite, there's a little, about 1 inch of space that you need to lock it in. So you don't want to cut too short. And these pipes are flexible. All right, so that's one. That's two. All right, so let's cut these real quick. So I love my gadgets, you know, and you can always do it. As long as you have the right tools, you'll be able to do a good job. Makes the job a lot easier when you have the right tools. And we can reuse them pipe them later on, if needed. Alright. So we got these cut. So now we can redo our connectors. Remember to say it need an additional little space, and then these are flexible, right? And these are actually earthquake proof, so they bend and twist. So then we get our other shark bite right here. You know, good to go. All right. So now you can tighten these down. So this particular water heater requires, this one has a leak sensor, all right, and a shutoff valve. So I have to install this one before I connect the pipe. Okay. So this one's a little bit more high tech than the last one. pipe. Good to go, nice and tight. All right, so now we can connect our pipes, our water pipes, back to our main source. This actually saves me some connectors. Left it loosey, righty tighty. All right, good to go. All right, so now what we're gonna do is get our connectors connected before we even get any power connected to it. All right. So, it's good to go. And then last but not least, we have a valve we have to install here. All right. So this is our relief valve. All right. So we'll put a pipe here, and it's gonna sit inside the sump area right there. All right. So we'll take this a little bit, and we can adjust our pipe how we need it. All right. So let me grab that part, and we're gonna install that. So all right. So for our outlet valve, relief valve, we're gonna run this down and out into the sump area. So first, I want to just kind of gauge it, so I know exactly where to put my relief pipe. All right. Get me a shark bite. Like I said, these are very convenient because all you do is slip them on. All right. Slip this in. Test, and then so I know where to cut it. All right. Good to go? All right. So now we got our relief set up. All we got to do now is tighten it up. So as you can see, these modern connections gets you out of having to do the soldering. So the old pipes, it was copper, and you had to do some soldering, right? And the relief valve was on top. Now the relief valve is right here. Makes it a lot easier. All right, so we're good to go there. Relief valve's good to go. Everything's good to go. So next step is to connect our power. Power's off. Pretty basic installation. So inside here we have our ground wire. All right, so let me get the screwdriver. And generally your ground is your green. All right, so if you see a green screw, that's your ground. Connect our ground first. No.
All right now.
The power's off, man.
I know.
And it's like, what? What just happened? Oh, man. Liz, she already knows I don't mess around with electricity, so, you know? All right. So, in this case, it's usually black to black and red to red. But this is, in this case, it'll be white, right? So, our power card. Do our connector, easy connect. And if there was power, you would actually get a spark. All right. And then, for the added layer of protection, we put some electrical tape on there so the wires are not exposed. All right. These are done. I'll tuck these inside underneath. Out of the way. But pretty much that's where we want to get it. All right. So we'll tighten that up in a second. All right. So next thing we gotta do, we'll turn our power on, and I need to remove this first. And then we'll turn our water on, turn our power on, and then we'll test it out, see how it works. All right, so as you can see, power is on. Everything seems to be working. Nothing's caught on fire yet. So with temperature set at 120, which is the standard you want to set it at, and it automatically, once it starts reading it, set it. So the only thing we have to do now, we just got to wait, and then we're going to test the water from the pipe to make sure it heat up enough. All right, so stay tuned when we check the water and make sure everything is good to go. All right, so see you shortly. All right, so let's test the water and see if we got some hot water. What better place to test than down in the cave, you know? Because when the guest time come, then we take a shower. Can't make them have cold water, especially in winter. You know? So I'm gonna test it out. Yeah, man, that's it. We got hot water. Yep, see that? I know if you can see the steam, let's have it set up to 120, which is the average temperature you need to set the water heater at. Yeah, man, see that? We have hot water. And they get hot very quickly. So, we are good to go. So that is it. Yeah. Another DIY project completed. As I say, if you look at the beginning of the video, the average replacement or what you call it, installation for water heaters is like somewhere between $2,500 up to $5,000. Alright? So think about it. The water heater costs me what? $900? And it would cost me about up to 3 times as much just for installing. What it costs me to install it? Absolutely nothing. So, I just saved some money. Alright, so hey, just like me show you everything that's on YouTube, right? So somebody, just because I've done it before, makes it a little bit easier. And actually this particular water heater was actually a lot easier to install than the previous one. I was going to show you some of the different upgrades of the mouth, right? So again, you know, do what's best for you. Me, I like to save a little extra money, right? And I saved actually a lot of money doing that myself, alright? So don't be afraid to try something new, alright? So until next time, stay tuned to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments, let me know what you think about this project, alright? And I will see you on the next one. That's what I always say, God bless, I will see you again, alright? Bye.
Good night.
Good night.